Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black. The Strat Time Report coming into a Friday. We had J Powell speaking virtually for Jackson Hole, and that got him going. He said, going to keep them rates low, right? And so we're coming into the end of the month. They're getting towards it, and once again, SPY going out new highs, right? And that's just kind of been the theme here. So here yesterday, we had the two up and then the two down. Stop these guys out, right? But then J Powell comes in and says, get boy, these two become an outside bar of all this, right? As we go into the highs and just drifting into the highs of SPY. Let's go to that 60. Wasn't quite inside here, but if we go to QQQ, very similar. The two up on the day, two down, and then bam, right back into the highs. Once again, the successful Rev Strat week inside, right? 1, 2, 2, and back we go. So as we get into the new month, is like we're nowhere near taking out the monthly lows, right? Because we're on the highs. So when people are like, oh, I think it's going to crash, I'm like, yeah, you might want to take out some lows if you're going to crash, right? So 2 hours stuck inside of here. So you had an inside bar, pokes up a little bit, but can't get out of the mother bar. So just kind of stuck in here. We have new 60s starting right now, so we'll see how that goes. If we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, and Dow Jones Diamonds inside on the 60 here. See if we can get out of that. Once again, we were expecting that inside week. We got it pretty much, unless we get a real big move here coming up. So an inside week coming up for the Dow Jones Diamond. So either side of that next week gets our attention. As it starts off today, the Dow Jones Diamonds are still an inside day, right? So the Diamond's kind of stuck a little bit, but you do have an inside 60 for the next hour. And if they're going to get them going, it would be over 350, 453. You're there right now. We'll see if that gets anything going. But one thing we did know about watching all the broader averages, small cappers. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And we knew it's going to be an inside month most likely, but we had the Rev Strat week. The inside week, the poke down, boom. Here was, stop them out yesterday. Two up, two down, boom. These two become an outside bar of all that. Takes all these guys out, which is nice. You can see here the higher highs and the lower lows. There's your broadening formation. Comes up, we're looking to take this thing out here, and we did it. And a nice opening here for the small cappers. You can see how much stronger they have been. Another thing that we like to keep an eye on is the gap list that I put out in the morning. And depending how fast you are, there's different ways to go about it. But I usually keep the newer people on 30 and 60 minute because it's plenty of time to go after stuff. And here's BILL. And if you go down to 5 minute, you're going to see how good this was on the opening. Now, not everybody's going to be fast enough for this, but the good thing is that the strat is repetitive. And what that means is that all time frames are going to just act the same. It's a matter of how fast you can get to it. But if you go here on the 5 minute, BILL, there's your inside fiver right here. And you can see this. That's over 248.59. Then you had more inside fives up in here. 267, right? Still no lower low. Another inside, still no lower low. Add it 270.88, no lower low all the way up into here. 281.15, right? 281.15. And so that from here, 248, not bad, right? 248 to 281. So real good stuff in there. And let's say that, then if you go back to a 30 minute, you'll see this. Then you can reverse and get short, right? This thing's had a mighty run, but 212 reversal on the 30 below here. 279.50, and it dropped all the way back down to 270, 280, right? It still hasn't made a higher high on that. So good stuff in there. If you go to Sava, and Sava, we always wanted a combination of the 30-60s, what's going on. So you had this inside 30 to the downside to take it into the lows, right? So anybody trying to bottom pick in here, all these guys, they get stopped out right here, right? This is a 2 reversal on the 30 here, and if that works, it triggers the 2 down, 2 down, 2 back up, 60 here, right there, over 54.07, and it ran over 65.09. So you can see these big chunks that you can take if you know how to trade this stuff, trading these gappers. These are huge moves. If you go to SPRT, and SPRT, if you go up to 30 here, you're going to see this. Inside 30 to the upside, above here, 38.12, and it spiked all the way up to 42.62. Then it did it again, inside 30, here, above 42.62, and you can see that it spikes almost $10, right? I think you can make money doing that. So we like to watch these gappers for the big chunker moves. And yeah, you might not be the Speedy Gonzalez on the 5-minute, but you can see, even if you're just watching the 30-60s, what kind of chunks you can take out of these boys. So if we go to SMH, and SMH was in the video last night because of this inside day here, right? If we take the inside day to the upside, what does that trigger? This 2-2 reversal week, 2 down, 2 up, looking for these to become an outside bar of that, right? Here, what's this? 271.79. And let's see, where are we on here? It's not showing here. 271.89. It did it. These two become an outside bar of all that, right? Reconfirming this hammer up and looking to close the month out on the highs, or at least close to it. And you got a bunch of usual suspects in there. You got Nvidia taking it inside day to the upside here. Then they're stalling out here, so we'll see. LRCX, you can see these inside 60s in Nvidia if they can get the measured move, up sideways measured move. Right now, SPY still going to the highs. LRCX. LRCX, here's your 2-2 reversal week. 2 down by taking out the lows, 2 up. So it's an outside month, right? And you'll hear me say this a lot too. Once a 3, always a 3 can't not be. So when it started to plunge here off this 2-2 reversal week down into here, we were looking to come an outside bar of these guys, which we did. Made the outside month. But then once you're down there, if they're willing to pay up and sell down, they might do it again. And if they're going to do it again, you're going to get this weekly signal right here. Boom. Back up over 590.52. And now trading 609.13, there's another $19 for you. If we go to AMD, and AMD coming up a little bit, got a little bit more on that week, had a nice morning here. So you just go across the board. KLAC, how's that doing? Another 2-2 weaker. So you'll also hear me talk about simultaneous break. And what that means is when we have a high concentration of signals in the same direction, right? And in this case, it's in SMH semiconductors. Almost everything's 2 up on the week, right? That's good. That's something you'd want to know about, because that means they're buying semiconductors pretty much across the board, and you can just keep running around and go after the strength. Because we knew yesterday microchip MCHP was already strong, and that's a 2-2 reversal month. Here, hammer back up. Running out a month, but you can see how sturdy it's been. You can see this inside 60 here. Something we look for, the outside bar by taking out both sides, then the inside bar, and then boom, real move, and off she goes. So semiconductors having a nice day over there. If we go to, believe it or not, energy, and XLE having a nice little day, taking these guys out, taking last week's highs out, and setting up the potential hammer here on the month. So as we get towards the new month, we always want to be looking to see how these months are setting up. So right now, slight lower low, hammer month, or OIH. Here, also trying to set up the hammer month. The Rev Strat week, inside week, then down, then back up. So inside day, OIHer. So that, obviously that tells you like a slob. There's your inside day to the upside, your Halliburtons. 2 up, 2 down, back up, and Rev Strat 1 inside week, down, boom. Just finishing off the week, and they're all looking very similar here as we get into potentially the new month. If we go to W Day, and W Day on the gap are now just kind of sitting here, so be aware of that, just kind of sitting there, a little exhaustion risk. If we go to DRI, DRI, we knew about this too. Talked about this. Strat attack, 2 down, two up reversal back to previous range, right? And if that works, you're going to get that outside month. What you got? Here was your reversal on the daily. The two down, two up to set it up for the last week. Inside day yesterday, and off she goes. Not that hard, right, folks? Okay. If we go into those energies again, subgroup Valero. If you go to the refiners, all right, you're going to see this once again, another hammer potential on the month. That inside week, that poke down, the inside day, and up. And that was in the video last night with PSX. Still got a little bit more room for the week. Just running out of week. And MPC. Inside day. Two down, two up, weaker. You can set up still an inside month. You're definitely closer to the highs, right? And that's kind of what we've seen every month. Is like we just keep going out near the highs. If we go to gold, GLD, and GLD setting up the Rev Strat month, inside month, then poke down hammer, right? On a nice J-Pow day, coming up like that. So that tells us to look at the J-Nugger. And J-Nug having a nice little day. Still would be an inside week so far, so we'll see if there's any more follow-through on that. You can just poke around, see like our GLD having a nice little day, albeit inside week. How's the GDX itself doing here? Still an inside week, so we'll see how that sets up coming into the new week, new month. If we go to Coop, and Coop, nice little hammer. Hammers on the week down there, and then back to previous range. And so now it's inside in the 60. You might get stuck in here for a while, but as I said, we want to start looking at how the monthlies are setting up. So one of the setups we look for is something like this: the outside month, by taking out both sides, the poke down, and then the reclaim back into the outside month, because this is a broadening formation in itself, right? And you're going to see it like this. Like so. So if this completes, you got a nice move coming back up through here. They're willing to pay up and they're willing to sell down. They tried to sell it down and they're coming back through, right? So that's something we're going to be paying attention to come the new month. Palantir. And so once again, we talked about this yesterday, and how it took out where the bad news came out here. Then it faded a little bit, but then they came right back in this morning, right? So that level here was going to be very important, starting to come out through here. Still inside month, but getting closer to taking that out to start the new month and trying to get out of all this. So trying to wake up over there, because the memes are a little sleepy. Other memes, you got Game Stack staying inside day, AMC. Just stuck in here, so not doing much in the meme land. We got VMW on the downside. Albeit corpsing, now trying to go inside 60 back to the upside. We prefer to have this thing fail, because then anytime you get that 60 back red, you'll have red on all time frames. So it'd be nice to have it back, poke up a little bit, then back off, and then take this low out in the next hour, which would be 145.01 if you can take that out. If you go to Moderna also in the video last night, because of this inside day. It didn't gap either, which is good, because that way when it starts dropping like this, you can hit it as soon as it takes this low out on the inside day, below 392.15. There's another $10 for you. Now inside in the 60, we'll see if they won't take that down anymore. If we go to Dell, and Dell inside on the 60 now. Setting up potential shooter counters hammer mounts. I've been chopping them up, but good up in here. And you can see this outside week now, back and forth. You can see how it took out the highs and then took out the recent lows, and now coming back in here. So maybe that gets a little stuck. If we go to ZM, and ZM on a day like today, one of the things you're looking for, if we back off at all, right now we're staying firm, but if we back off at all, taking out yesterday's lows. Because anybody long this thing, they got what they wanted. The market started rallying back. Handily so, but you're taking out yesterday's lows, you got problems. And here you can see this is what we look for, that outside bar, taking out both sides, inside bar, boom, 312 down to the basement. And it's taking out last month's lows, backing off, and we're setting up the shooter for the two up, because it took out the highs, and then potential 2 down next week because we're closing going towards the lows. So as we come into a new month, you just want to be aware of how many things are closer to taking out last month's highs or lows. Right now, most things near the highs, but we'll see how it goes. Right now, exhaustion risk as the SPY goes into the highs, and so just a little doing its job, coming back through here, and may as well draw it for you. Lower low, and now your higher high broadening formation. So we got to get out of this thing, and so it does its job by coming back through the range, but then you get a little stall out once you get up into here. So for the rest of the day, we'll just be seeing if they dry up, if there's going to be more action closer to the close, as we've seen during the summer hours where midday gets a little quiet. So hope everybody had a great week and has an even better weekend. I'm Rob Smith from Smith in the Black with the Strat Time Report.